friends, facing our fears, laughing through the chaos and drinking some beers. So here's to the laughs, the crumbs and the cheers, all the awkward moments, and we're still here. Cause in the end, we're just doing our thing. It's our crazy life, oh, one more thing. Oh, one more thing. Oh!
Welcome to Oh and One More Thing, a podcast where two longtime friends try to figure out what the heck is going on with this crazy thing called middle age.
It's a mix of stories of how we navigate our lives and maybe some questionable advice.
Some days we're wise, other days we're just trying to remember where the heck we left our phone.
So join us as we laugh, groan, and maybe even learn a little something about surviving in the second half of life. Oh, and one more thing. Hey, I'm Rob. Welcome to Oh, and One More Thing.
Hey, I'm Brian. Hi, Rob. You're looking good today.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate the compliment. I'm just trying to keep up with you, you silver-haired god.
What can I say?
Right. Hey, got a question for you.
Okay.
So what happens when you wear your watch on a plane?
I don't know. What happens?
Time flies.
Lame.
I know, right? Sorry. That's all I got this week.
Well, that brings up the perfect topic for today. Let's talk about our travels and give our listeners some travel tips. You know, since we've been around a while, we might have learned a thing or two.
That is true. Do you like to travel? I mean, I like to travel, but I would consider myself kind of a novice traveler.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, we really started traveling a lot in the last 10 years or so. But I really enjoy it. I think I'm still learning the best ways to get around and have a good time while doing it, though.
Well, that's the perfect topic then, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. So what is where's the most relaxing place you've been?
Well, I think for me, it would probably be Fort Myers Beach. Mm-hmm. I went there with my wife, Amy, for her birthday, and we literally just laid on the beach most of the time.
Oh, fun.
I say most of our other travels are always really planned and very busy.
Kind of chaotic and not much relaxing time, not
Right.
much downtime. Yeah. We've been to, my wife, Tammy, and I have been to Puerto Vallarta twice. The first time we went for our anniversary about 10 or so years ago. So just Tammy and I, we met a bunch of other couples from Minnesota and hung out. So that was really fun. And the second time was, of course, with you and Amy and another couple, friend of ours. We had a great time exploring, doing a bunch of different things. And of course, eating, because we were at an all-inclusive, and there's lots of eating and maybe some drinking.
Too much drinking.
Maybe
that was my first time at an all-inclusive. Did you know that?
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, so Brian drank and ate way too much.
Brian was very happy the entire time we were there. Brian had lots of smiles on his face.
I think I was probably drunk the entire time.
I think you were too.
Ugh, I learned a huge lesson that week.
Yes.
Talk about being a novice traveler.
But when the drinks are free, you do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
What do you like better, a mountain view or a beach view?
Well, I think it all depends on how I'm feeling that day. If it's a little chilly outside, I would say beaches for sure, 100%. Mm-hmm. But, you know, typically like the mountains are so majestic, you know, they're so beautiful to look at. So it really depends on the day. I kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, I agree. Have you been to the mountains, like on a lottery?
Have I been to the mountains?
Yeah.
Here and there.
Here and there?
Yeah, in like California,
Okay.
Oregon, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it. Nothing too. Not Montana, not Grand Canyon. Been to the Grand Canyon, so.
Yeah, I agree. I think it depends on your mood. I've never really been to the mountains until this last summer. Tammy and I took a road trip. We went from Minnesota out to
Cat got your tongue?
right. I went from Minnesota out to Montana and drove through the Black Hills and Bozeman and Missoula. And really the point of that entire trip was we had to go see Pink in concert in Missoula.
Oh, yeah. How many times have you seen Pink?
That would probably be in the last 7 years, probably 7 times. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she puts on a great
You're a groupie.
Yeah, we are a groupie. But we literally drove 22 hours to go see a concert, which it was such a cool experience.
And you were road tripping, seeing the countryside. Mm-hmm. So it was twofold.
Yeah. I mean, I'd been to why am I losing my mind? The Black Hills and Mount Rushmore. I couldn't think of Mount Rushmore.
I've been there too, so I guess those are mountains.
Yeah, but I've been there once when I was like 10, so I didn't remember any of that. So really the farthest west I'd been from Minnesota was on a road trip was Sioux Falls. So it was great to kind of get out that far and then go farther. Never been to Montana, never been to Wyoming. Stopped at Devil's Tower, saw that.
Yep.
And then our last day in Montana, we went to Glacier National Park. Oh my gosh. The most beautiful place I've ever seen.
Really?
Gorgeous.
For mountains.
For mountains, yeah, for mountains. There's a road, Going to the Sun Road. It's about a 40-mile road that you start at the base and go up to the top of the mountain and drive back down, and it just winds through the mountain. It's absolutely gorgeous.
And then didn't you drive back through Canada, eh?
So the intent was like, after Glacier, let's just drive north all the way through Canada. We'll go all the way over to Winnipeg, drop down, and we drove up to Canada, and it was flat and brown, and everything was in kilometers, and the money was different, and we were like, what are we doing? So we stayed one night and then dropped right back down into the States and drove through North Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was our trip. But it was fun. We had a good time.
Good.
So if you won the lottery, since we're talking about travel, where would you go first?
You know, I think I'd go to Ireland, Scotland, England, and Denmark. All northern countries.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's where some of my family is from, and I'd love to do a little digging in heritage history and learn more about that. And then, of course, taking all of the culture and beer.
Where is duh. Where is your family from?
Well, Ireland, Scotland, England, Denmark. That's what I just said.
Refer to the previous sentence.
Refer to the previous statement.
Gotcha.
And Germany.
Yeah.
But
beer, and I'm assuming some Irish whiskey would be involved.
100%.
100%. Yeah. I agree. In Europe, for sure. That is one of those bucket list things for me as well. And in high school, I mentioned in earlier episodes, I was a band geek. We spent 2 weeks as a high school band going to our sister high school in Germany.
And you partayed.
You know what's funny? We did. It was kind of, I kind of knew this going into it, but a little bit of culture shock that at 16 you can walk into the bar and order yourself a beer.
Yeah, totally different culture.
Totally different culture. And their high school, they had a dance party one Friday night, and it was catered by the local brewery.
Cool.
And they'd give you a cute little 8-ounce glass of beer out of the little keg, and then you drink it and you just throw the glass in the corner and smash them.
At our age, we think that's cool.
That is cool.
I don't want my kids doing that.
No, not at all. But it was cool back then. I'd also like to go to Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah?
I don't really know why. You see it on TV, and I think it looks gorgeous. I'd love to go just check it out.
See, I think I'd be a little nervous to actually go to Asia. I don't know. I don't really find that much drive or yearning to go to that culture.
Yeah, I think Hong Kong is probably one of the reasons why is a lot of stuff there is also in English. So I would feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
A lot of their signs they're dual language. So I think, that's probably why.
Just like Singapore.
Yeah. So are you good about documenting or capturing your travels, or is it kind of a one and done thing and you go on to the next?
No, I pretty much document them. Okay. I take a lot of pictures. I jot down notes for things like, this podcast.
There you go.
I like to hang pictures in my office of where we've been. It's kind of like a quote unquote travel office. Mm-hmm. And Amy, my wife, and I, we write a small travel blog, very small travel blog. And it's really just to highlight where we've been and what we did as a way for me to remember what we did and for family and friends.
Yes, as you get older and the memory starts to go.
How about you?
Really pictures is about it. We don't do a lot of keepsaking. I'm a big live in the moment person. Same thing kind of goes for me when I go to concerts. I hate when I go to a concert and some person spends the whole time videoing the concert instead of watching it. Like, oh, look, who cares about your video? Go on YouTube and go find the same damn video in 8,000 other places. Enjoy the moment. Live in the moment.
Okay. Yes, I agree. But I went to Pink with you for the first time.
Yes.
And when she's flying on the wires above,
that is pretty cool.
I did record the entire thing. Yes. And let me tell you, I've watched it over and over because it just brought back that memory that I recorded it and that I was there.
Okay. Something like that, that's like kind of, like she does that at the end of the show, one-time spectacle sort of a thing. Yes, I get that. But
it was amazing.
It's people who spend 2.5 hours recording the concert. What are you doing?
What are you doing? But did I ever tell you the vision that I had for that concert?
No.
That she'd be flying on the wires and that our fingers would touch. So now that's a fantasy, okay?
Yeah. So her last song is "So I'm a Rock Star," when she's just flying around, that, and then part of the song when she says "and I fall," and she like drops straight down to the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, we saw her when the Super Bowl was in Minneapolis. I don't know, what is it, 5-6 years ago? She did a concert at the Armory, which is a very small venue. It's standing room only.
Yep.
So we were there, and she did the part where she falls, and she literally fell like right on top of us. Like we could have reached out and grabbed her. I mean,
you didn't?
It was that close. Well, No, but yeah, I mean, it's
A bouncer would have come and tackled you.
they would have plowed through that crowd in 2 seconds flat. Yeah. So, what is the most memorable or most fun vacation you ever took?
Well, I'd probably say the most fun vacations is when I went with my family when they were younger, of course, to Disney World.
Disney.
You know, we had it all planned out. We knew how we were going to navigate the parks. Where we were going to eat, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we had asked for a lot of advice from friends, and we actually got books on Disney, and we did the research. Okay. And what made it the most memorable was we unexpectedly were chosen as the family to be in the parade.
Shut the front
in
door.
the open air fire truck with the Disney
Shut
characters.
the front door.
I know, right?
Really?
Got to wave to the crowd.
Oh,
the kids were
that?
super excited. I mean, excited.
Sure.
And we were too.
Yeah.
Something like that just doesn't happen every day.
No.
Well, to us.
No, that is so cool.
Yeah, we had our own paparazzi taking our picture.
Oh.
It was really a magical time. Isn't that weird how
It is weird.
magical Disney can be?
It's funny. I kind of have the same story about Disney. I've only been to Disney a few times. My mom lived in LA for a while, so we go to Disneyland when the kids are super young. And I've only been to Disney World once. We went over COVID. We went during Thanksgiving, and nobody was there. It was awesome. But in the Disneyland one, so when the girls were super young, they were big into princesses. You know, they had to wear the dresses to Disney. Yeah. And we got in line. They were taking pictures at the Mad Hatter. Alice and the Mad Hatter were taking pictures.
Oh, yeah?
This is so cute.
That's fun.
We get in line, and we're towards the end of the line when they start cutting people off. And my daughter gets up there, and I'm taking the picture, and they're smiling. And all of a sudden, they start talking to my daughter, Jordan. I'm like, what is going on? Next thing you know, Alice grabs my daughter and takes off.
Oh, no.
I'm thinking, and I'm looking at the staff, and they're smiling and giggling, and I'm like, what is going on?
What's happening?
Well, she took her and ran to the teacup ride.
yeah.
So Jordan, my daughter, sat with Alice and the Mad Hatter in the teacup ride, went for a ride.
And okay, does she remember it?
Oh, God, no, she's like 4.
Oh, come on. Do you like show her pictures if you had any?
I have pictures hiding somewhere. I need to dig them out. I haven't seen them, but but Disney just does that. I love Disney. Oh my gosh.
I love them.
I would go back in a second. Yeah.
So getting back to traveling,
Yes.
I've been to quite a few states, probably too many to mention, and a few different countries. So I think we maybe learned a few things, at least I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. I think this podcast idea really started when we were on vacation together.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. I think we laughed more about some of the absurd ideas that we could turn into a podcast, but that was then. Yeah.
I'm glad some of those didn't turn into podcasts.
Some of those will never see the light of day. But look at us now. We're on our 4th podcast.
I know.
We're like professional.
Well, I wouldn't say professional.
Okay, well, almost. So, one last question.
Okay, go for it.
What was your favorite place that you've traveled to?
I'd say hands down, it was Italy, Rome to be exact.
Yeah.
We went to visit our daughter who was studying abroad, and we met her in Rome.
Oh, cool.
Over Easter. So Amy was able to arrange for us to attend Easter Mass at the Vatican.
Oh, that's cool.
And maybe you have heard in the recent podcast that I'm Catholic. Yes. So attending Mass at the Vatican was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was simply amazing.
Yeah.
But then for Italy and Rome itself, the food. Oh my God, don't get me started on the food and the wine, the gelato.
Yeah.
Ugh, so good.
Did you have pizza in Italy?
So many places. And we had a recommendation to go off the beaten path to go to Dar Poeta. I will plug that place, Dar Poeta. It's a really, really good, tiny little pizza joint. And oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah.
So what's yours?
I would probably go to, I would say New York back in 2015. First time and only time I've ever been there. Same thing. Very first thing we did when we got to the hotel, got a room, we walked out the hotel door, and I said, where's the closest pizza joint?
Yeah, to get New York style pizza.
That's the first thing we did, and it was fantastic. But we did Wicked Rush tickets, like 2 or 3 days. They just show up right before the show and say, here, you basically get crappy front row seats, and they suck, but they're like $30. Never got them.
Oh, you didn't get them?
We never got them. So one day we didn't get them, so we walked a few blocks. It went to Central Park.
Okay.
And as somebody who'd never been to New York and seen New York and all the movies and TV, we found a softball game. And we sat there probably 20 minutes and watched them play softball. It was like right out of a movie.
That's cool.
How they interact with each other and talk and just the banter. And it was so fun. It was just quintessential New York in my mind.
Awesome.
Yeah. But another day we went to, took the train, went to Coney Island when we couldn't get rush tickets. So Coney Island was very, very cool.
Yeah.
And then Times Square. What's weird in New York is McDonald's.
Why? Why is that weird?
Because, they're everywhere. But when you go to order a beverage, me being from Minnesota, I said, hey, I'll have a Big Mac and a pop.
Oh, no, you can't say pop.
Yeah, a guy looks at me and he's like, what? I'm like, pop? I'm like, okay, well, how about a soda? And he's like, what do you want? I said, I want a Coke. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You got to say Coke. It means everything.
Yeah, it means everything.
So I've been to New York once. It was on a work trip.
Okay.
And I hated it.
Okay.
It was just so loud.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I was working and I was busy and we were rushed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't enjoy myself there.
Yeah, I think when you're on a work trip is completely different from casual time.
I suppose. Yeah.
I think the noise would be annoying. Yeah, in that case. So okay. So here we go. Some lessons from some novice travelers. Would you like to go first, my friend?
I will go first.
Okay.
Tip number 1. Always know where you are. You think that's a simple thing, right? Well,
one would think.
Let me tell you, I got a short story here for you. So I'm in Nashville for the first time. My wife and I are there. And when we vacation, we try to go to church.
Uh-huh.
And so we had found a nice church to go to. And with that particular day, we were going to go to Hattie B's Hot Chicken.
Okay.
Because we had got to try the hot chicken, Nashville hot chicken, right? Mm-hmm. So we get done at church and we order an Uber. What we didn't understand, we get in the Uber and the Uber driver drives around to the other corner of the church and there was Hattie B's. We could have walked there had I only known where the heck I was.
Right.
But I mean, it was so good. The chicken, oh man, I totally recommend it. I had the hot. My wife had the medium. I mean, melt your face off.
Yeah.
It was so hot, just sweating.
Yeah, I can't do the Nashville hot. That's too much for me. It's funny. I have a similar story. Well, when we were in New York and our subway story. So when you're there, we were there for 3 days and we just bought the 3-day pass so you can just ride unlimited for 3 days, right?
Okay.
And one night we decide, hey, we should go to Times Square at night. So we're all excited. We pull out our little subway map. We're like, okay, we walk 4 blocks over this way.
Tourist.
Yes, total tourist, right? Walk 4 blocks of subway. Then we have to go over here. And we have to do a transfer, get over this train, blah, blah, blah. So it takes us 20 minutes to get there. And you're in Times Square and you're looking around, blah, blah, it's so gorgeous. Oh, it's so cool. And then we said, okay, time to go back. And then we look at another map and realize we're about 3 blocks from our hotel.
That whole time.
Needless to say, we just walked back to our hotel at that point.
So that's our tip.
Yes,
always know where you are.
Yes. Okay, moving on to tip number 2, be prepared. So I tend to freak out about forgetting things. I get very anxious, before we go on a trip. And then I calm down and realize there's things like stores wherever you go. So
yeah, there are stores.
It'll be okay.
And you'd think that given my personality, I'd be prepared. But if you're prone to motion sickness.
Oh, no.
And I'm speaking from experience here.
Yeah.
Don't sit in the back of a minivan while driving through the mountains.
No, don't. If you're going to do that, make sure you're the driver.
Let me explain. We were on yet another trip with Rob and our friends Matt and Teresa. We went to visit them in Oregon. So we were like, let's go out to the coast, to Cannon Beach. We drove out to the beach, beautiful, enjoyed it. It was great. We're getting ready to leave. And we're like, let's go tour the Tillamook Creamery. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to do it. It's great. So Rob's driving from Cannon Beach, and we got a suggestion. You should take this other road because it would be faster. Mm-hmm. And we had to cross the Oregon coastal range, the mountains. So we took this, what was supposed to be a shortcut through the mountains, very windy, lots of bumps. I'm saying lots of bumps. Mm-hmm. And this went on for what felt like an eternity for me.
That was so not a shortcut.
Okay, so I'm sitting in the back seat, first of all. Didn't really know I got sick. And I am getting sick, where the saliva is starting to pour out of my mouth.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I yell out curse words at Rob.
I'm called a couple of choice words.
He was able to pull over. I swear, I fell out of that van. I didn't vomit.
No.
But, I was so close to. And then the rest of the way, they made me sit in the front seat.
Yes.
Sorry, Rob.
It's okay. In my defense, I didn't necessarily pick that path. I didn't know where I was going.
You didn't, and we didn't know.
And
but
I'm definitely not, I'm by no means am I throwing anybody under the bus whatsoever. I didn't know where I was going. I followed the directions we were given, and that was not.
Had I was prepared, I would have brought Dramamine.
Oh, yeah.
But
maybe something more to drink.
That would have been all over the seat of the car.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got nothing more to add on top of that.
Next tip.
Okay.
Make copies of your travel documents.
Yes.
And don't forget to bring your ID when you go on an excursion in a foreign country.
What? Tell the story.
Let me tell you the story. Okay, so I'm on a vacation. Oh, can you guess it? With Rob.
Shocker.
I know, right? We're in Puerto Vallarta. We're going to go on a sailboat excursion. How fun is that, right?
Super fun.
Everything's prepared. Everything's paid for. We're all good to go.
Yeah.
I take the taxi down to the port. We get there. We're in line, ready to check in. And where's my ID? I don't have a driver's license. I don't have a passport. I have nothing except for a single credit card.
In a foreign country.
In a foreign country. Oh my gosh. Freaking out, right?
Yeah.
And after a lot, I mean, I think the guy felt super bad for me. Eventually was able to change the reservations to Amy's name and then checked us in. I think he just wanted us to get out of there.
He just wanted you to go away. You're holding up the line.
But what I learned from that was take pictures of your passport and stuff and keep them on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's funny now is I'm pretty anal about remembering my phone and my wallet. I mean, I
thought
check,
I was.
I check. I mean, but now my phone has the ability to put my passport in it, which I actually just did. I got my new passport this week, and in my Google phone, I can put my actual ID, my wallet in my wallet, my passport in there as my digital wallet. So some airports now, you can just basically show them their phone. They'll scan your phone. Yeah. The Bluetooth QR code thing or whatever, and it will come up in their system, and you're good to go.
Does that work on Apple?
Yes, I guess I don't have an Apple, so I don't know.
Oh, so I was going to ask you to show me how to do it, but you're a Google guy.
I'm a Google guy. And there are probably about a half dozen states now that have your actual driver's license ID, so eventually that will be the norm. So
yeah.
So as long as
you're right.
Going forward, I think if you can just at least remember your phone, you may be good.
Yeah, if you don't.
We can hope. Right.
Lose it.
Right. Tip number 4. Pack light. The smaller your luggage or backpack, the less you can take.
Yeah, why do you need 4 to 6 pairs of shoes?
You don't.
I don't think so.
You don't. No.
Leave them at home.
Yes.
You realize you got to carry that crap through in your luggage to the airport and to your Airbnb or wherever you're staying. It's heavy. And then if you got kids, you're carrying their stuff with it.
Yes.
Your clothing has to become very versatile. Everything you bring has to go with everything you bring. So that you can rewear, mix and match, and you've got everything you need in a nice, small little duffel.
Yeah. Now, we may be a little gender biased that we're guys and we don't feel the need to bring 35 different outfits. I'm okay wearing the same thing 1 or 2 days in a row.
Yep. 2 pairs of pants.
Yeah. I also realize that, we go visit my mom a lot, and she lives in Arizona, and Mom has a washing machine. So
wash your clothes.
If you're going for 5 days, guess what? Bring like 3 things to wear and do a load of laundry while you're there. So
that works.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
And
Brian.
if you stay in a Airbnb, they have laundry.
They have a laundry. And guess what? Most hotels do too.
Yeah. Hotels. I don't want to do my laundry at hotels.
Right. Okay.
Tip number 5.
Yes, sir.
Protect your belongings.
Yes.
So keep your valuables on you and not in your checked luggage.
Yes.
You'd think that's probably the safest place to put them, in the checked luggage. But also, when you're at your destination, keep your valuables in the locked safe in your room.
Yes, use the safe. So when we were coming back from our last trip to Mexico with you, went to the airport and we packed our stuff up, and Tammy put all of her main jewelry she carries, her wedding ring, not her real wedding ring, her travel wedding ring. We have a travel one and like a real one. And that was all in her checked luggage, and we got home and it was gone.
All of it was gone?
It was gone.
How can that happen?
Well, when we went through security and they did the bag checks, however they do them down in the other country, some stuff just happened to disappear. So never saw it again.
So perfect tip.
Yes.
Protect your belongings.
Keep your valuables with you.
That goes for cell phones too. It's kind of important. I learned that the hard way.
What, again?
Yeah. Right? Okay. So I thought I was prepared, but apparently I'm not. So we were in Boston with the family, yet another vacation. And we were out in the morning and we Ubered back to the Airbnb for a short while. After a while I asked, has anyone seen my phone? Which is a typical statement out of my mouth. I'm like, oh, crap. It left in the Uber. It was driving down the street.
No.
And I had booked the Uber, so I couldn't look it up where it was going.
Yep.
We just sat there and kept calling the phone over and over. And eventually a passenger gave it to the driver.
Oh.
And it was a couple hours later, he answered the call.
Yeah.
And then he was able to come back and give it back to me.
Oh, nice.
And so we thought, oh my gosh, this is like, oh, we're so thankful. I'm going to tip him really big tip.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know Uber just adds on a surcharge for delivering something back to you?
I did not.
So I tipped him twice.
I bet you he was pretty happy with that.
I was happy to get my phone back, so I'm okay.
Right. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Yep. Hey, this is Rob. I wanted to take a moment to talk about Spring Green. I've been using them since 2007. They provide fertilizer, weed control, lawn insect control, and core aeration services for my lawn. They also spray for mosquitoes, which is huge in Minnesota, and new later this year, liquid aerations and home pest control. They're a locally owned and operated company, super easy to get a hold of and work with. They'll give you the attention and service that you deserve. Visit their website at spring-green.com for a price quote specific to your property and to sign up for service. You can even register for autopay or prepay to save a little bit of cash right there on the website, or shoot them a message with any questions. That's spring-green.com, spring-green.com. All right, tip number 6, talk to the locals and eat local.
Yeah, it's been our experience that when you engage with the locals in the area that you're visiting, you can really get good recommendations, and you'd never thought you'd go there otherwise.
Right.
So when we were in Mexico, we went to the local touristy market, downtown shopping, and our friend Matt asked the shop owner that we were in for a recommendation for lunch. Well, and it did not disappoint. Let me see if I can say this.
No.
Casa Tradicional Cochina Mexicana.
I think that's right.
That's a terrible saying,
Terrible,
but it was good. Amazing.
Best Mexican food I've ever had. Ever.
The food, the atmosphere. Nino was the manager.
Yes,
when he
Nino.
brought our food, out, it was on fire, and he was dancing with it. It was amazing.
God, it was so fun.
And then, we of course got margaritas, which are amazing. They mix them at our table. And then the Nino insisted that we do shots with him.
Yes, he did.
So they make their own tequila, Ragusa, artisanal Raspado tequila is the name of it, but you can't get it in the States.
No.
And it is the best thing I've ever had.
We all bought a bottle. I still have yet to crack that bottle.
Really?
What is wrong with me?
Oh, I use it only for sippers.
Oh, it's so good.
And special occasions because it's that good and I know I can't get it again.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge tequila guy. But it's
good, isn't it?
Smooth and it's
I remember that so clearly how much fun we were having. We left that restaurant and none of us could walk.
All right, we're doing a shot after this podcast.
All right.
My opinion is when you go on a trip, why are you eating at national chains the entire time?
Right.
Go find somewhere else to eat. Except when you're 15 and in Germany. After
You're 15. What do you know?
I know, but after eating German food for like a week, we found a Pizza Hut and a McDonald's in the same day. It was like heaven on earth. It was so good. Also, I don't know if you ever knew this. When we were so again in Germany for 2 weeks, you start to miss home again at 15. So we did our best to find a movie theater that was playing a movie in English, and we found one.
You did?
We did, yeah. It was in English, had German subtitles, but it was in English. Do you remember the little movie called Can't Buy Me Love?
Yes, I do.
Patrick Dempsey.
Can't buy me love.
Yeah, I saw it 3 times that week.
You were homesick.
We were homesick. It is a very cute movie, though. So.
All right, tip number 7. Learn the tipping expectations of the area you're going to.
Yes.
Well, tipping's not mandatory it's not mandatory at all-inclusive resorts. It's generally appreciated, especially for staffing, providing special services like waiters, bartenders, room attendants, etc., as the all-inclusive price may not fully cover the wages. I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, what I'll do too, if we're at the pool all day and I'll talk to the bartender and say, "Are you here like pretty much all day?" "I'm here for the next 6 hours." I'll make sure that first drink I give him like a really, really, really good tip.
Yeah,
and then I don't tip him the rest of the day. But as soon as I walk up to the bar, he remembers you and gives you a little extra pour, and
that's what we like.
That's what we like.
So just remember to bring lots of small bills along because you want to be able to tip and be generous.
Yes, lots of 1s and 5s, not for the strippers, but for the tippers.
And, when tipping's not generally expected, even though it's not mandatory, you leave a small amount and they appreciate it.
Yeah.
But tipping can be really confusing.
Yes.
So it's good to find out ahead of time before your vacation starts.
Yes.
Do you know that baby boomers are generally considered most generous tippers, followed by Gen X and then millennials, while Gen Z tends to tip the least? Well, that's according to Google.
According to Google, yeah, I would debate that because baby boomers are the most generous tippers.
Well, okay, that's what Google said. Now,
Right.
however, I'm at the very beginning of Gen X and the end of Boomer, and I would say because of that era that I grew up, I do tip well.
Okay.
But I can understand how a Boomer might not tip as well because that's just wasn't their culture.
Yeah. See, my experience, I've worked in a restaurant for an entire 7 hours in my life, and
7 hours.
7 hours, that was enough for me. And the baby boomers were the worst tippers by far.
Okay.
And part of it, I think, may just be just from a limited income, which would completely make sense. But the rest of it, I would agree with. I think Gen X, the millennials, and then Gen Z is Gen Z.
Do you tip regularly?
I do. I'm a pretty consistent 20% tipper, I would say.
Yeah, I usually tip 20 unless the service is really good, and then I'll always go up from there.
Yeah, agreed.
There's this one time, though, Amy and I went to Canada. It's the first time in Canada, and you have the money exchange.
Yep.
And I didn't pay attention. So we're on our way back and we stop at a roadside cafe and we had a nice little meal. It wasn't very expensive. It was a small snack, more or less, and paid the ticket and she gave me my change. And I was going to leave a tip. Well, I didn't realize that their dollars are coins. So I left all the coins. Which means I think I left the same amount as what my bill was as a tip.
Yeah.
So, understand what you're doing.
It does help, yeah. That's what the entire 12 hours we spent in Canada last year, I just used the credit card.
It's easier now.
Let them figure out the tipping.
So this was back
conversion.
when we weren't using credit cards, we were just cashing.
Right. Funny thing I found out with, it's talking about, depending on where you go. For example, in Japan, which I've never been there, but I know things. Tipping is generally not customary in Japan. In fact, it sometimes can be seen as rude or confusing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the emphasis in Japanese culture is on providing excellent service as a standard, not something that requires additional compensation. And this applies to most places you go, restaurants, taxis, hotels, and all the service industries. So instead of tipping, expressing sincere gratitude with polite words is highly appreciated.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in Italy. You don't tip in Italy.
Okay, so same thing. Same deal.
So
yeah.
I mean, you really can if you want to, but it's really about the experience you had, not the service. It's about the person. So it's just pretty much not a thing over there.
I think part of it too, in my Googling, I found out that a lot of the countries where tipping is not expected is their base wages are much higher than they are here in the United States.
Okay, well that makes sense then.
So that we have to obviously compensate because we're schmucks and we feel the need to compensate because our businesses aren't, right?
And I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that anymore. All right, tip number 8. Make friends on your adventures.
That's fun.
Yes, so your wife, Amy, has this incredible knack for making friends wherever we go.
It has helped us out in a lot of situations.
It has. It is definitely a gift that I don't necessarily possess. Our first trip to Mexico, we found some Minnesota couples that we hung out with, which was super fun. So we made friends on our trip. It was just Tammy and myself. One day we went golfing, just me and the guys.
Well, that's fun.
So 2 guys I'd literally known for about 24 hours, just hop in a random cab and go to some golf course in the middle of Mexico. It was probably 45 minutes away. That's safe.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. But we got together every night. They had a rooftop sushi bar, so we had sushi every night. We hung up by the pool every day. Had a great time.
Do you eat sushi?
I will.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't think you liked that.
It depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, oh, great. All right. So let's just preface this with California roll, and then we're going to stop there. I know it's not really sushi, but that's about the extent of it. But all these great new friends we met 15 years ago or 10 years ago in 2015 haven't talked to or heard from since. So
well, at least you're Facebook friends.
Right. But we had fun on the trip. That's made that trip itself much more enjoyable and memorable.
Yeah. So speaking of my wife, she does have that amazing gift to just talk to people.
Yeah.
We were in Nashville the first time. We met a couple from Minnesota in a bar.
Okay.
They actually were living in the neighboring town.
Like here in Minnesota?
In Minnesota, yeah. We met them in Nashville the first time. So we spent the whole night with them. It was a lot of fun.
Well, fun.
We're Facebook friends, but we don't see each other.
Yeah.
When we were in Italy, we were going on a bus tour to Pompeii, and we had a driver. Can't remember his name, but he only spoke Italian. So there was a tour guide. She was the interpreter. It turns out when you sit in the front of the bus, because why? Brian gets motion sickness.
It's been well established.
and you're married to my wife.
Yeah.
You start talking to people.
Yes.
So we had a great conversation with the driver.
Okay.
No English.
Yeah, no English at all.
Or-
Right. But had a great conversation.
Through the translator,
as
right?
far as you know.
Yep. So
Right.
there was times where the translator would say, "You can't say stuff like that." It turns out he invited my wife over for dinner.
What?
Yeah. We didn't go to dinner, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I imagine it was. Oh, funny.
All right. Tip number 9. Take the less traveled path once in a while.
Yeah, so we love to do that. So I mentioned earlier, my mom was in Arizona, and we went down there a few years ago and brought the kids with. And one day, Tammy and I left the kids with mom, and we decided we're going to take a day trip up to Sedona. She lives in Florence, which is south, and Sedona is kind of north in Arizona. So that was the only plan. And then we get on the highway, we're driving through, and then you ever watch a show Bar Rescue?
No, I've not
You ever
seen
watched
it.
that? Okay.
No.
Well, this is a few years ago when it was still relatively new. There'd only been a couple seasons out. But one of the shows on the first season was a bar called Chilene's on 17. And they had a huge flipping billboard as we're driving down the highway. Hey, the Bar Rescue
And you
bar.
saw it on Bar Rescue.
Like, oh, we're stopping.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, we stop. We pull in there. And if you ever watch a show, it's the one where the horse came into the bar. So
Okay,
if you're
I'll watch for
If you're a
that.
regular Bar Rescue watcher, it's the horse in the bar one. And we walk in, and the daughter who was on the show was behind the bar.
Oh, that's cool.
She's still there serving drinks. It was really cool. But we took a bunch of side trips that trip. We went to Jerome, which is an old mining town built in the mountain.
I've heard of Jerome.
Yeah.
I have not been there, but I've heard of it.
Cool. It's cool. Montezuma's tomb.
Okay.
Saw that. Then by the time we got to Sedona, it was pretty much dusk and had very little time at Sedona. But
I've been to Sedona. I really liked it.
yeah, so we want to go back because we pretty much missed most of it. But yeah,
But I don't really have anything to add to this.
Okay.
Because I'm usually quite scheduled and planned out.
that is true.
I'm a researcher, and I always have information of what we're going to do and where we're going to go.
Okay, so we're going to work on that. So one of these days,
So you want me to be spontaneous?
one of these days, we're going to take a trip, and I'm just going to say, get your butt in the car, and we're just going to go somewhere, and you're just going to have to just suck it up, Buttercup.
Okay, so I am looking forward to that.
Okay.
And I'm a little nervous at the same time.
You should be. All right, our last travel tip of the day. Wear comfortable shoes.
Oh, couldn't stress that more.
Like your Mizunos.
Like my Mizunos. That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
And your slip-ins, arch support Skechers.
You're darn tootin', baby.
I really discovered the truth of this tip, though, when you are in, Rome.
Right. Yeah.
And where your Airbnb is positioned on the other side of the Vatican City.
Okay.
So you get into Rome, what do? You walk.
Yeah.
And you walk through Vatican City. Okay, first of all, cool.
Yeah.
But you walk everywhere. We didn't really take any taxis. We walked.
Okay.
And then what we came back through at the end of the day to get up to where our Airbnb was, there was I think 3 flights of stairs, outdoor open, basically climbing the mountain. And the stairs, and we called them the devil steps because by the halfway up, your legs were burning,
Right.
and our whole party that's with us. Some are up front, some are lagging way behind because they just can't move, and you stop in the middle to rest. Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, shoes are important.
Shoes are important. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I think that's it for today.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing.
What's that?
Oh, and one more thing. Spit it out. For me personally, 3 days seems to be the sweet spot when visiting family.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah, I think 4 to 5 days for actual vacation trips, but
Yeah. Don't stay too long because you want to leave wanting more versus wanting to leave.
agreed. I think it's a pretty good list.
I think so.
Yeah, I had fun. Did you?
I had fun.
Good.
Great time.
Yeah. So everybody feel free to reach out to us via email at oandOneMoreThingPod@gmail.com. That's spelled out oandOneMoreThingPod@gmail.com.
And send us topic ideas at One More Thing Pod Gmail. And if we use one of your topics, we'll send you a free t-shirt.
Yes, we will.
Plus, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at One More Thing Pod for updates of our next episodes. Later.
Bye. Where should we go next?
Let's get a donut.